we can develop. In previous class, I've told what are the applications we can develop using Python. We have discussed. So using Python, we can develop GUI applications, Windows applications we can develop, and we can develop websites or web applications, and we can develop work with uh, data science, then task automation. Yesterday, I've told many things related to automation and testing tools, testing of applications we can do in Python, and scientific applications, networking applications we can develop, gaming or animation applications also we can develop using Python. So yesterday I've told about all these things. In today's class, we are going to discuss about how to install this, how to install Python, then what is interactive mode, what is batch mode, then what are the keywords in Python, then what are the data types. So all these we are going to discuss in today's class. In today's session, we are going to discuss. So here when we are working with this Python, so to work with Python here we'll use. So python.org site I'm using here. Python.org site. And here you can see downloads is there. So in downloads, we can download this file here, exe file. So here click on this button. So here exe file is downloaded. So here after exe, here I'm deleting the icons which are created before. So now go to downloads. So in downloads, you can see the exe file here. Python 3.8.3 is there. This is the exe file. So this is the exe file here. In downloads folder, you can see this. So double click. So here you can see modify, repair, then uninstall is there. So in my system, it is already there. So here I'll do uninstall. See here I've clicked uninstall. So here it is showing uninstall was successful. And here in D drive, this physical folder is there. So in D drive, you can see the physical folder. So it is uninstalling the files installed in different locations. In C drive, program files, in system folders also it is installed. So here I'm deleting this folder here. So in your system, no need to do all this because you will be installing the softwares directly. You are installing the software for the first time. And in Python, you can keep multiple versions. So in D drive, I can install Python 3.7, and in E drive, I can install Python 3.8. Python 3.8 is there now. We can use that. We can install. So in single system, you can keep multiple versions. So they will work. We can work even with multiple versions also. So now here, after uninstalling this, so again go to downloads folder. So here double click on the exe file. So this is downloaded from python.org site. So once again double click. So here you can see this Python 3.8.3 32-bit it is giving. So Python software is available in 64-bit also. So we can use Python 64-bit. So as in I think in yesterday class I have told the difference. So in Python int data type is there. I'm telling you one example. Int 32 is there. Sorry, in Python language int data type is there. Okay. So if I'm using Python 32-bit, then int 32 will work. So int 32 means it will uses 4 bytes. Like 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. So 32-bit means it takes 4 bytes. So if I'm using Python 64-bit, then int data type works as int 64. So int 64 means it will take 8 bytes in the memory. 8 bytes it will use. So based on bits also memory usage will be there. So install now is there here. So install now means you can install in the default location, and some are installed here. So you can go with customized installation. You can change the installation location. You can specify like what applications that you want to install, what are other packages you want to install, you can specify. So clicking on this, so when I click on customize installation, here you can see documentation. So if I want help, notes if I want notes for any module or any function, then I can select this. It will show help also. Like in Python, we can get the help. And here you can see pip is there. So it is used to install the packages developed by Python Software Foundation. So it is used to install the packages. It is used to search and install the packages developed by Python Software Foundation, Python community. So here I'm saying package. So in Python, package is a collection of modules. So Python program or Python file is called as module. Set of modules we are saying as a package. In Java, we'll say package means collection of classes and interfaces. And here if you want to install TCL, TK and IDLE. So TCL, TK means it is used to work with the tkinter module. So it is used to develop desktop applications, Windows applications. So in our classes, we are going to see how to develop Windows applications. In advanced Python, we are going to discuss. And here, next, here you can see this IDLE is there. So it will install IDLE also. IDLE means integrated development learning environment. So IDLE is just like a notepad. There we can write the programs and we can execute. So here if you want to install Python test suite, like Python testing tools related libraries. So as I said before, here we are going to use for testing applications, here testing tools is there. Testing frameworks are there, like PyTest, Splinter, all these are there. So when you want to work with this, you can use this. And here you can see this install for all users is there. We are not selecting this. Associate files with Python. So whatever Python related files are there, like if you want to install PyLauncher, like it is used to work with other commands. And here you can see create shortcut for installed applications. So when software is installed, Python software is installed. When Python language is installed, then some other applications will get here. Okay, so some apps will get. So it will create shortcut here. And here you can see add Python to environment variables. So if you want to add Python path to environment variables in control panel, then we have to select this. See, when you install Windows or when you install Java or .NET or when you install Oracle or when you install Python, the path is added to the environment variables in control panel. So you can see like all the software's path is given. So those who learn basic Java, like core Java, those who learn. So in the classes, the faculties will teach like how to set the path and how to set the class path manually. So here also we can set manually. That also we are going to see in today's session. So here I am selecting this. And here you can see installation location. It is showing as a C drive. So here I am deleting all the folders. No need to keep all these folders. So here I'll say D drive. So D colon forward slash backslash then Python 3832. So Python 3832 is a Python current working directory. So in this folder you can see the other files, other subfolders and files are installed here. Files are created. Even this folder name we can change. But to know what is the Python folder, which version we are using, because for every 2-3 months we'll get new version in Python. Okay, so to know which version you are using, this folder is very useful. Here we are using Python 38, 32 we are using. So 38 means 3.8.3 version it is showing. 3.8.3 version. And 32 bit means it is showing that we are using Python 32 bit. And after giving all these options, here click on install. So here while installing Python, I'm using Python. Here I'm using Windows 10 Pro. So you can use Windows 8, but if you use Windows 7, so Windows 7 means it will ask for additional software. It will ask for service pack. So Windows 10 means Windows 7 means additional softwares you need to install. But Python old versions or latest versions, they will work in Windows 10 Home Edition. They'll work. Home Edition means a starting edition, basic edition. Python will works in Windows 10 Basic Edition, Home Edition or Standard Edition, and it will works in Windows 10 Pro, like it works in Professional Edition, and it works in Enterprise Edition also. Like every software will have editions, so editions will be there. So top level edition is Enterprise Edition. So Enterprise Edition means in that all the features are enabled, and any task you can do it. So in IT companies, when they use any software, they will go with Enterprise Edition because all the features are enabled, and any task we can do it. So if you are using Linux OS, if you are using Ubuntu or any other softwares, then I will tell how to do the installation through commands. We can do it. So now click on this close button. So after installation, so here will not get icons on the desktop here. So icons will not get here. So here when you install Python, we'll get two icons. One is interactive mode and second one is batch mode is there. So two modes we can see here. So interactive mode is there. So first we'll see the icons. So here I'll say IDLE. I'm typing in search. I'm typing IDLE. And here you can see ideally Python 3.8 is there, 32-bit. Right click on this, open file location. Open file location. And here you can see shortcuts are there. Here you can see shortcuts. So these are created in this particular location. You can see many subfolders are there. Here shortcuts are created. Here in this location, many subfolders. And now here right click on IDLE, Then right click on this, send to desktop, create shortcut. Okay, right click on this. And here you can see send to desktop, create shortcut. Click on this. So here we'll get two icons on the desktop here. So here you can see ideally we can delete this version or we can keep 3.8 32-bit. So here you can see this icon here. So when you are working with Python here, you can see two modes here. So interactive mode is there. So interactive mode means we can call it as command line shell. So it is used to execute any statement in it is used to execute the statements immediately, and then it gives the result. So it is used to check the features of Python, like what is the module, then how it is working, what are the functions, how the functions will work. Then all these we can check in interactive mode. We can check this. So here I'll use interactive mode now. Double click on this icon. So it is showing like this. So click on this control box. Here I am using properties here. I want to increase the font size. So here I am increasing the font size here. Okay, so here we'll get prompt like this. So here I am giving the values here. So this is the value given, s equal to value. S is the variable, and the whatever string is given, it is in single quotes. We can use in double quotes also. In yesterday class I've told, like C, C++, Java, .NET, all are called as a strongly typed languages, because according to the given data type, memory is allocated and values are stored in the memory. So Python is called as loosely typed language, because in core Python, in advanced Python, we'll not use the data types. So data types are assigned to the variables at runtime. That's why Python data types are called as dynamic data types. Okay, other languages data types are static data types, because they are assigned to the variables at compilation time. Okay, so here while working with Python, programmers need not worry about memory management, like what data types to use, how many bytes it will use, like what value we can store, what is the range of the value. All these need not worry. Why? Because is according to the, like when the program is executed, then program will assign data types to the variables, or Python will assign data types to the variables. So here I'll say print s. Here I'm using print function to show the value. If I give only s, we'll get the result, but it is in single quotes. So without single quotes, if I want to get the result, then here I'll say print s is given. And here I'm giving the values here. So here I'm giving a value 10, b value 5, c equal to a plus b, and here I'll say print c. So this is giving the result here. So every line is executed immediately, and then it is giving the result. Like this we can check, we can do here. And here when we are working with this modes here, you can see batch mode is there. So batch mode means writing the program and saving in a file and executing all this. So batch mode means we can write programs, they are saved in a file, and we can run the files also. We can run files or modules, so we can execute. Okay, so here when we are working with interactive mode, here you can see this, whatever is given here, when I click on close button, the statements are deleted. So again, if I want to see them, it is not possible. These are only temporary. Okay, they are not stored anywhere in the system. They are not saved in a file. But here, if I close this, the statements are deleted. But here closing. Again, if I open, the statements won't be there. Statements are not there. Okay. So here, when you work with batch mode, they are saved in a file. Program is saved in a file, and we can run the file. So today, if I write a program, tomorrow, if I want to execute, or after 1 month, if I want to execute, we can execute because file is created and it is saved in the system. We can access. Okay. So to write programs, we can use editors or IDEs can be used. So here we can use a Notepad, Notepad++, Edit Plus, Nano, Gedit, then IDLE. All these we can use it. Okay. And here when we are working with when we are working with IDE, integrated development environments like PyCharm is there, Eclipse is there, NetBeans, Atom, Sublime Text. So many are there. Like Jupyter is also there. So we can write the programs and we can execute. Okay. So here I am using ideally for writing Python programs. I am using it. Okay. So in your system, if already PyCharm is there, you can use it. PyCharm we can work with. Okay. And here when you write a program, the program extension is .py. File extension is .py. Okay. It is saved with .py and we can use it. We can access. So here I am double clicking on this IDLE. So here when I'm using this IDLE here will get like this. So it is just like interactive mode. In interactive mode, we are seeing prompt we are getting. So this ideally works as a 2-in-1. It works as interactive mode and also batch mode. Here we can execute the commands. Here we can execute. So here I'll say print s. Here we can execute. But if I want to write a program, then file, a new file. So file, a new file means it will show new editor here, just like a notepad. Okay. So here we can write the programs here. So here I am writing statements. So print s, and here I am giving values here. So print C. So in ideally we have to use print function. Directly we cannot write as C, we cannot write. So here print, then here I am using this by I am using. So here here I am using hi by for beginning and end I am using. So here we will not use semicolon at the end. Like no need to terminate with semicolon. And here we will not use a flower brackets. Curly braces are not used. So this is the program. I'll save this file here. File save. And here I'll write give the file name as file1. So this file1 is saved in D drive Python 3832. So Python 3832 is the Python current working directory that we are using here. So here it is taking as file1. Save. So here you can see file1.py. It is saving a file with name .py as extension. After writing the program, after saving the file, here you can see run option is there. Run option is there. In run module is there. So when we create a file like this, when I write a program like this, then it is considered as a module, Python module. So this module can have variables, functions, classes, all these can be created. So click on run module. So here you can see hi, then print Delhi, then a result of C, then by is given. So when we are writing Python programs, there is no rule like we can save only, we should save only in this location. So here file, save as. So I want to save in some other location here. So I want to save it in E drive. So in E drive, I want to save this file here, file 1. So file is already there, we are replacing it. So here you can see the location here, file1.py e:// file1.py. It is giving like this. You can save the file in any location. So in idle, you can save the file in any location and you can run the program in idle. Running in idle, we can do it. So here we are able to execute this program here. So now here, what we do is here we'll create we'll write a program in Notepad, and we can execute the programs in we can execute program at command prompt. We can execute the command programs at command prompt. So those who are joining later, like those who have joined now we are discussing about Python installation, execution. So all these recorded videos I will send to your mail IDs. Okay. So once if you register, then I will send all the 5 classes videos, notes, everything I'll send. So no need to worry about the previous class videos because they are already there in YouTube, but I'm storing in my system. I will send all the videos and I will send you the notes also. So now I'm telling how to write a program in Notepad and executing it command prompt. Okay. So we have seen how to write program in IDLE and running in IDLE, writing program in idle, running in idle. Now we'll use Notepad. So here in Notepad, I'm giving the values here. So here I'll say x equal to value I'm using. So this is the text given, print x. And after this here I'm giving the values here. So print a is given. So here I'm using 4 lines here. So x value I'm printing, a value I'm printing here. So here file save I'm using. So I'll save this file in D drive. So D drive I'll save the file. And here I'll give the name here file2.py. File2.py is given. Location is a D drive. Here I'm saving as file2.py. So here we have to give the extension here. We have to give the extension. Why? Because is otherwise it will save as a .txt. File2.py is saved. So file is saved. After saving the file, what we should do? We have to run this program. So to run this program in Notepad, there is no run icon or run module is not there. If a run icon or run module is there, then I would have clicked on run icon, but it is not there. So to run the program here, I'll go to command prompt. So here I'm using command prompt here. So at command prompt here, I'll use a D drive. Then here I'll say file2.py. So it is giving the values here. And here next is so Python file2.py is given. So Python means exe file. Python.exe file2.py. So it is giving the result. So py, while installing Python, we are installing PyLauncher also. Like some commands we are executing here. So here I'll say file2.py. So here in 3 ways we can execute. In 3 ways we can run. And here this Python, all these are in D drive. In Python 38, 32 it is there. So here I'll say cd Python 3832 it is there. So Python 3832 you can see Python exe file you can see here, that is working. So Python exe file works from any location because it is already given in environment variables. In environment variables it is there. Okay, so now we'll see that. So in a search I'm typing env. So in search when I type env, it is showing edit a system environment variables. System environment variables. So here you can see this. So advanced and here environment variables. So in environment variables, you can see user variables and system variables. In user variables, you can see path. So in path, select the path, click on edit. So when you click on edit, it is giving like this. Like 2 times old version, for old version it is giving here. So I'm deleting both. So path is deleted. Okay. So there is no path here because at the time of installation, whatever path is given, that is deleted. Okay. Again, okay. So I'm closing this also. So I will close this command prompt. I'm closing this window. So again, command prompt. So now go to D drive. Then here I'll use Python file2.py. So it is saying not recognized command because there is no path. If a path is there, then Python program can run from any location like C drive, D drive, E drive. From any directory it will execute. But here that is deleted. So if I want to set the path manually if I want to set the path, here I'll type env. So env means it is showing edit system environment variables. So here environment variables, and here you can see a path, and here I'm selecting edit, and here you can see new is there, new. So here I'll type d:\Python 3832. So we are adding this path manually. So okay. So okay. So again open command prompt. So don't use the same window. Means changes are not affected. So here we are opening again. So here I'll say Python, then file2.py. So you can see the result here. So like this we are going to do this. Okay. So here Python installation is very easy and you can easily work with. You can do it.
Sir,
yeah.
In my system, whenever I'm trying to do like Python a.py, or then it's showing Python is not recognized an internal operation or batch file. But when I do py file1.py, it is showing correctly. So
yeah,
if
see,
I'm
py is another it is called PyLauncher. Like it is also used to execute commands, to install packages it is used. Py is different. Python exe file is different. Py is a PyLauncher that we are installing with Python. You can install separately also.
okay.
So here we'll now we are going to, so this software installation is over. So now we'll discuss about keywords in Python. After that we are going to discuss about basic data types, all this. So when we are working with this Python here, we can see the keywords here. So here you can see Python keywords are there. Like we'll say reserved words. So these we can use while writing the program. While doing program, we can use it. So here nearly 35 keywords are there. Like in Python 3.8, 3.8.3, here 35 keywords are existing. So while writing the program, we can use it. So here you can see like a false, then none, true, all these are there. Like many keywords you can see, like import is there, all these are existing. Okay, and here Python is a case sensitive language. Python is case sensitive. Like C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, all are case sensitive only. So those who know only C language, so they may think that case sensitive means we have to write program in lowercase. Okay, but those who know Java, .NET, like they know about case sensitive, because we'll write in uppercase also. So in Java, .NET, in Python, we'll use uppercase letters. So case sensitive means whatever case that is specified, we have to follow the same case. Like wherever capital letter is required, we have to write. Wherever lowercase is required, we have to write. Okay, so that's why we are calling as case sensitive. Means Python will check the statements and it will check in which case we are writing, whether it is in lowercase or whether it is in uppercase. So when we are working with class and objects, like when we write programs, then here we are having format here, like notations are there, like a Pascal notation, Camel notation, like a title case, all these are there. So when we create a class, there is a format. When we create an object, there is a format. So yesterday I've told like what is a class. So class contains variables and functions. Okay, and when you create a class, we can create an object. Object means variable can be created. As of now, I am telling only few things about class and object. Okay, so here while creating a class and object, there are some formats that we need to use. So we have to do like that. Okay, so here Python is case sensitive. When we discuss about data types, when I give examples using data types, I'll tell what is Pascal notation, what is Camel notation, all these we are going to discuss. Okay, so here when we say about keywords, like when we write a false, when we are using Boolean value false, then F capital should be given, and true means T capital. And when we write none, none means nothing or empty. When you want to assign a null value to any variable, then we'll use none. So when we use a none, we have to use N capital. So these three, first letter is a capital, followed by small letters. Remaining other keywords are in lowercase only. Other keywords when we are using in the program, we have to write in small letters. In small letters, we need to write. So if I want to know what are the keywords are there
Sir,
in
just one question.
yeah.
Sir, async await here, are they similar to the JavaScript asynchronous programming? Those keywords, async and await.
Yeah, same only. Yes.
Okay, yield also, right? We use in JavaScript also. Okay.
Like see here functionality is same here. See, like for example, try except block is there now. In Java, we'll use a try and catch block. Finally, lambda is there in Java. Like here also same only, but 1-2 words will change. Like here we are using raise. In Java, we'll use throw. Like here for here we are using a return, and for this for other functions, generators and decorators are there. For generator functions, we'll use yield. Like only 1-2 will change, the rest all will be the same.
Okay, sir. One more question. Like
Yeah.
you said decorators. So decorators in Python are similar to annotations in Java.
Okay. See here concepts like definition will change. Definitions may change. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So here, like see when we see the examples, then I will give you clarity like how they'll work. Then we can do comparison. And now here, if I want to know what are the methods that what are the keywords in Python, if you want to see, then here I'm using interactive mode here. in interactive mode here, I'll type here import keyword. So here import is the keywords list. It is there. It is there in the keywords, and here keyword is the predefined module in Python. Okay, it is a predefined module, and here I'll say keyword dot kw list. So here you can see the list here. Here you can see the list. Whatever I have told now, all this is there here. It is giving everything here. Okay, so here when we are working with the properties here, when you work with modules, then kw list it is showing here. Okay, so kw list is the property in this module. I'm saying property. So property is just like a variable. It is like a variable, but property can have logic like get, set, get block, set block. All these will write. Okay. So here I'm defining easily like a KW list means it is a property. So property means it is just like a variable for storing and accessing of values. We'll use it. So if I say it is a function, then it will have brackets at the end. It will have parentheses at the end. Okay, brackets will be there. Okay, so here whenever we are using module, and if you want to know like when we are using property or function in a module, then we have to use a dot. Dot is called as a member access operator. So when we say keyword dot kw list, kw list is a property in the module. So we are accessing using dot. So dot is called as member access operator, used to access the members in the module. It can be a property, it can be a function, it can be a class, anything it can be. We can access like this. Okay. So when I say keyword is the here module, and if you want to know like what are the other things in the module, then here we can use a dir function. So dir keyword is given. So it is showing all this. Okay. So dir function is used to show what is there in the module. Okay, keyword module, if you want to know what is there, here you can see is a keyword kw list. So in Python, we can see some properties having 2 underscores before and after. Okay, here you can see 2 underscores before and after. So now I'll not discuss all those things because in beginning classes we should not discuss all this. Like later when we move to the next chapters, then we'll see what is there in that. Okay, so all these are the predefined properties, or we can say special properties. Which
assert is used for test. Assert keyword.
no, I didn't get what you're asking.
ASSERT assert keyword. Actually, sir, I am basically from Java, so I am comparing everything.
No, yeah, I see. You can compare, but I should give examples. No, like I'm just telling what all keywords are there. When you see the programs, when we discuss that particular topic, then we can do the comparison here. Okay. So now we are in the beginning stages. Like many days is there to learn. Like core and advanced Python, I'll take 50 sessions. Nearly 2 months we are going to discuss. Like lot of things are there to discuss. But I will clarify whatever doubts you have. Definitely will discuss. Okay. So here you can see 2 underscores are there before and after. They can be called as special properties, because they can execute automatically. All this is done. And here we have another function called help. Help function is there. So help keyword is given here. This will show the notes also. It will give you the description and it will give you the syntax also. So if you while learning Python, if you have any doubt regarding any module, you can use the help function. Using help, you can see like what is the content, like what is the definition of the module, then what are the other properties and other predefined special properties are there. You can check all this, you can read. So here I'm pressing enter. Here it is showing more. When I press enter, it is showing the next lines here. So here it is giving all the information like this. So in interactive mode, you can get the help for all the properties, what all we are using here. So this is about keywords that we have seen. And here coming to this data types here. So when you are working with data types, here we can see two types of data types here. Fundamental data types and collection data types are there. Fundamental data types means basic data types. Like int is there, long is there, and float, then bool, str, complex, all these are there. Okay, so long data type is deleted from Python 3.0. So long data type is there in old versions of Python, but now we are not using. From Python 3.0 and later versions, we will not use a long data type. So if you want to store small int or big int, or if you want to store value with 10 digits, or if you want to store value with value with more than 10 digits, we'll use int. So in Python, in my system, int data type will works as int 32 because we have installed Python 32-bit. So when we install Python 32-bit, it will works as int 32. So int 32 means it takes 4 bytes to store values. To store value, it takes 4 bytes. And here you can see float is there. So float is used to store decimal or real values, and a bool is there to store boolean or logical values like true or false. Okay, and str is used to store characters, set of characters, and a complex is there. Complex is used to store complex data types. Complex data we can store. Okay, so when we say complex data types, here we have one format. Based on that format, we can store the values here. So when we say complex data type, here you can see, like if two values are given here. Okay, like for example, if I say 2 plus 4j, if this is the value, let us say 2 plus 4j, or if I say 2 into 4, anything. So 2 into 4, then A is called a real part, and B is called as imaginary part, and J means the square root of -1. So I means the square root of 0, J means square root of -1. So we have to follow this format. While using complex data types, we'll follow this particular format. Okay, so here now I am telling only what all data types are there. For every data type, we'll see many examples. I'm just saying that these data types are there. Okay, but we'll see many examples, like we'll see how they are going to work. So for complex data type, I'm saying like a real part, imaginary, then a square root of -1, then what values we can give, how it will works. All these we'll see when I start examples. So, but now I'm telling only the names, I'm using only the names here. Okay, and here you can see collection data types are there. So in Python here, we can see collection data types like a list, tuple, set, dictionary. All these are there. All these are the collection data types we are using here. Okay, so when we are working with collection data types are used to store multiple values. See, in Java and in .NET, collections are there, and also generics are there. Collections and generics. Okay, so here when we say about the collections here, collections are used to store multiple values. For storing multiple values, collections are used. Like for example, in a C language, if I give like this, in a C language, if I use arrays, in a C language, when I use arrays, then I'll give like this, int a of 10. So int a of 10 means in a variable a, I can store 10 values. It is a subscript, it is given, which is given. So in variable a, I can store 10 values, and all the 10 values should be integer values. So when you work with arrays in a C language, they are static. Array is static. Okay, according to the given size, the values are stored. You can store the values and you can store similar values. So, but how can you manage, how can you maintain multiple values is by using index numbers. Every value in array has a unique index number, and you all know index value starts with 0. Okay, so based on index values, index numbers, you can send multiple values, you can access. Okay, but when you are working with arrays, then arrays means here modifications is difficult. If I want to add a new value, or if I want to edit or delete any value, then modifications or manipulations is difficult. So when I'm telling about arrays in C language, some of you may have doubt. Then what about arrays in Python? So in Python, arrays is there. Like in Python standard libraries, in Python standard modules, whatever we use in beginning classes, in Python standard libraries, array class is there, array class. Okay, so that array class will work with only one dimension, single dimension, and it has less functionality. So in beginning classes, in beginning chapters, in Python standard libraries, in Python standard modules, array class is there. It will allows us to work only with a single dimensional array. Okay, and it has a less functionality. So that's why we'll go for advanced modules like number Python, scientific Python, pandas, matplotting library, matplotlib, all these are there. Okay, so when we are using number Python, pandas, all this, then we can work with single dimensional array, two-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. We can do calculations quickly. So faster execution will be there. So their faster execution guarantee speed will be there. Execution will be there. So in Python, arrays are there, but arrays we are going to discuss in last classes, because when we discuss about advanced modules, at that time we'll discuss about all this. Okay, so arrays means even in Python they works faster, but for storing the values to do calculations, arrays are used. For doing to perform calculations, they are used. Okay, but to overcome the drawbacks of arrays, here we are speaking about collections. Here we are talking about collections. Okay, so when we say about collections, collection is collections are dynamic. Okay, so collection is a class. Collection is a class, and it is used to store multiple values. Like arrays, whenever you want to store multiple values, collections are used. But collections are dynamic. Collections won't have any fixed size. You can store any number of values, and you can store composite or mixed data. Any type of data you can store in single variable. Like we'll say no heterogeneous values, homogeneous values. Homogeneous means like a similar data, but collections are to store heterogeneous values. Heterogeneous means composite or mixed data we can store. So in collections also, every value will have unique index number, like arrays. So using index values, index numbers, you can store the values, you can access the values. So all these we can do it. Okay, storing and accessing of values. But collections are having set of functions. Collections will have set of predefined functions. By using them, modifications can be done easily, like add function, then insert function, remove function, clear function. Many predefined functions will be there. By using them, changes can be done. Changes can be done easily. Okay. So here when we are working with the collections here, like when we should use arrays, when we should use collections is if you want to store values in a variable, and if you want to access them, storing, accessing them, then arrays are recommended. We can use arrays. If you want to store values in a variable, and after that if you want to do modifications, if you want to do changes, then collections are recommended. Collections are used. Okay. So here about collections, we should remember one thing here. So what I said before is collection is a class. Collection is a class. Class contains variables and functions. Okay. Variables are used to store values. Functions are used to perform operations. Okay. And using a class, you can create object. So class won't have objects. Class does not contain objects. Using a class, you can create an object. Object means a variable. Class variable. Variable given to the class. Okay. So every collection is a class, but all the classes are not collections. All the classes are not collections. All the classes will not use to store values. So classes can be used for some other operations, like to connect to database and to fetch the data. Okay, to access the data from files. Okay, like many operations we can do. All these is used here. Okay, so here I'm just telling what are basic data types, what are collection data types. So you may be having doubt like what is collection. So that's why I've told about all these things. So when we discuss about fundamental data types, then here we'll use these functions here, like type function, id function, print function. All these functions we are going to use. Okay, so in next session we are going to discuss about fundamental data types. So when I'm explaining about fundamental data types, then we'll use a type function, id function, print function. All these will use. Okay, collection data types will not discuss in next session, because after fundamental data types we'll discuss about number format, then string handling, input function, then conversion functions, and then we are going to discuss about operators, Python operators, if condition, for loop, while loop, all these. After completing all this, it may take few classes. After completing all these, then we'll discuss about collection data types, like a list, tuple, set, dictionary. All these we are going to discuss. Okay. So here I just want to recap here. Here I'm saying about collections here. Here I've told about collections. Okay. So here what is collection? You can type in this chat option, because when we use a voice, like others like here disturbance may be there. Okay, so if you want to give answer, please type in chat option. You can give text messages, because others also can see the messages. So here if I say collection, here I have given explanation, no? So please tell me here, what is this collection? What is collection? Basically, what is collection? Collection is used to store multiple values. Collection is dynamic. I am not asking that answer. Okay, collection for storing multiple values, it is dynamic. But here collection is what? Basically, what is a collection? Please give answer, participants. Please type there. Yes, here a student is giving answer. Collection means it is a class. Okay, so class means class contains. Please give answer. Class contains. So class contains variables and functions. Okay, yes. Variables and functions. So by using a class, what we can create? By using a class, what we can create? Object. So we can create object. So only one participant is giving answer. Others are not giving. And here all the collections, when we say collections, all the collections are classes. Okay, but all the classes are not collections. We can use classes to perform some other operations. Okay, so I am stopping now, and tomorrow and Sunday I'm not taking class. Saturdays I'll take class, but tomorrow I'm not taking. because I want to add some more students into this batch. Okay, so online team will add a few more students into this batch because still basics are going on. And Monday is the next class. Monday I will continue with the fundamental data types. Fundamental data types, we'll see the examples and we'll see about the functions what are listed on the screen. Monday we are going to discuss. Monday 9 to 10 we are going to discuss about all this. So if you have already registered for the classes, then I will take your names from online team. Then I will send you all the 5 classes videos, and I will send you the material also. Whatever I'm showing on the screen from day one, I will send you all the material to your mail IDs. So I will take the names, mail IDs from online team. Tomorrow I will take, and I will send you the videos and the notes. I will send your mail IDs. So next class is on Monday. Monday we are going to continue with fundamental data types. Okay. So I think all of you are registered. Okay. So if you are already registered, so tomorrow I will take your names from online team, like names and mail IDs. I will send you the videos and notes also. I will send you your mail IDs. Okay. So tomorrow you can talk to online team. You can call to them, or you can send mail. They will definitely they'll give response. They may be busy with other classes, but when you contact them, they will send you the payment details. You can do the payment. Okay. So okay then. Bye to all. Monday we will continue.